What's up, people? Ben France here from Benjamin France Music, coming at you with another video here on YouTube. This is more of a technical video slash demo video where we are going to install new pickups in this guy, my RG470 AHM. Spoiler alert, the new pickups are already in here, but I filmed the video of installing the pickups, so going to cut to that video now, and then once we get through the installation process, then we'll come back and do some sound clips of how this guitar is set up and how it sounds now on both some clean, some crunch, and some high gain, more metal sounding distortion. So we will cut to the video of the installation now, and then we will come back and we'll check out some sound clips. All right, folks, so that was the installation process. Obviously, that was sped up for time's sakes. It took a little bit of time to do. So now let's take a listen to some sound clips. Now, first off, let me kind of explain the setup of the pickups themselves, what pickups are in here. I explain how I've got them wired up on this guitar particularly. And then we'll talk about the signal chain, what you're hearing, and then we'll get into some actual sound. So these are set up, replace the stock bridge pickup and stock neck pickup with a Seymour Duncan set, a Nazgul in the bridge, and a Sentient in the neck. I also installed a coil tap on both of those humbuckers so they can be split to single coil on either one of them, or various combinations with the factory 5-way switch on here, or with the 5-way switch on here. So, signal chain is this guitar running into a radial DI passive direct box. I've got a direct signal running into my Universal Audio Apollo Twin, and also have a process signal going through my XFX2 XL. It's actually not mine, it's a long-term loaner, but it's mine for the moment. And that's running through a few different presets, and I'll kind of talk about the presets as we go through those. So, we'll talk about the pickup setup, talk about the different switching options here, and give you some sound clips both of the signal processed through the XFX into the XFX direct into my Mac and into Logic, and also the DI signal as well, so you can hear the difference. And the DI might be more useful at hearing the difference in a variety of different tones. So, starting out, I am on a preset I've created in the XFX2 that is a modern metal clean setup. It's based on a Bogner Shiva. I've got that set up with a little bit of compressor on the front end, in front of it. I have a little bit of a filter on the front end. I'm cutting everything out below about, 130 hertz out. That Bogner Shiva is the, it's actually labeled as a Shiver Clean on here, but it's a Bogner Shiva. Running a pretty clean sound, and then running out of that into a cab setup that is the F131 preset on the XFX2, which is a 4x12, and then the split going into a delay and going into a reverb, and then out of that guy then going basically directly into the Apollo Twin and then into Logic. That's being recorded on one track. I'm going to set that up where that'll be on the left-hand side, and then the DI track is being set up on the right-hand side. That way you can hear the difference between the two. So we'll start out with some examples of clean tones, and I'll explain the pickup switching as we go through them, and then we will get more into some of the crunch tones, and then finally into the extremely high gain stuff. So, starting out, just explain a couple things. On this pickup selector, when I'm labeling it, this is going to be position 1, which is the bridge. Position 2, which would be one of the coils from the bridge, and the single coil in the middle, which is still the stock single coil. Position 3 is the stock single coil. 4 is one of the coils from the neck humbucker and the stock single coil. 5 is just the neck humbucker. And then, of course, I'll tell you whether or not I've got the coil tap engaged, but it'll be pretty obvious from the sounds. So, start out here in position 1, coil tap not engaged, and I'm going to start Logic recording here. That way we have the audio clips. Let me kill the metronome, so we don't need that. And so here we go. Starting out in position 1, we'll just do some chords, then some picking, and then we will move on from there. So. That was position 1 in the humbucker setting. I have the tone control disabled on this, so pretty much tone is wide open. So now let's listen to position 1 only with this coil split. Alright, now we'll move to position 2, which remember is bridge, humbucker, and the middle single coil. And this is with both coils, at least with the coil tap turned off, so coil tapping isn't happening. Now we will put the coil tap in place. This isn't going to make a huge difference on this sound, but we'll put it in place just so you can hear it. Still on position 2. moving to position 3, which is just a stock single coil, and we'll play it just for posterity's sake, even though you can go play this guitar at your local guitar center or wherever and hear the stock single coil. But here it is. Now moving into position 4. Position 4, once again, is the middle single coil and the neck humbucker as well. And here's what it sounds like. And we'll do that with the coil tap engaged as well. And I'm out of change positions here. I'm not usually used to setting cowboy style at this. I usually set more traditional classical style when I'm sitting down and playing. So let's try that, and it'll probably affect how I pick things here initially, but we'll shift. And finally, neck humbucker in humbucking mode, so position 5. And then position 5, neck humbucker only with a coil taps, only one of the coils. So that gives you kind of an idea of what we have sound-wise. And once again there, this is with the DI on your right channel, right ear if you're in headphones, and the AXFX process signal on the left channel. So now, let's switch presets on the AXFX. Let's go to something a little bit more higher gain, but not just a straight metal tone, maybe more of like a hard rock type of tone. So let me pull up the AXEdit software here, and let me go to where I want to be. I believe my preset I'm looking for is preset number 20. But it's been a little bit since I've used this one. I've been playing a lot more metal lately. So let me see. Where I've been playing a little higher gain lately. Okay, and one thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to bring on a cab on that, because I had this guy set up to be played through as a preamp only, being played through my actual Egnator Tweaker 15 head and running that into a cabinet. So let me set up a cab simulation on it so it'll hopefully sound a little bit. Okay, I think that should work for us. So now our signal chain, everything's the same on the guitar, everything's the same with DI in your right ear and AXFX processed in your left ear. The difference is this setup is a modeling of a Friedman BE, and I'm running that guy set up with the drive at about 12 o'clock, between 12 and 1 o'clock, and the master volume at about, master volume set at about 11 o'clock or so, and then a few other things on there, but no boost pedal, no nothing like that. There's a little bit of reverb at the end I've got set up. It's a medium room verb, and it's very, very short time without a whole lot of, it's turned down pretty low, where it's only primarily about 85% dry signal with just a little bit of reverb. So, let's go back to that guy, and we'll check out some higher gain settings now. So, this, once again, is more of kind of a crunch or more of like a hard rock than a metal setting. Starting out, once again, in position 1 with the humbucker not split, with the humbucker running in full humbucker mode with both coils active. now let's split the single coil on that guy, or split it to single coil on the bridge. Sounds more like this. So here we go with the single coil on the bridge. Alright, so now we'll go to position 2. The humbucker still split, so it's humbucker and the middle single coil. Once again, I don't think the coil split makes a big difference here, but we'll do them both. So here is with the humbucker full on with the single coil. And we will now split that humbucker, still in position 2, so the middle single coil is still active. Okay, middle single coil, position 3 by itself. All right, position 4 with the humbucker engaged, so neck humbucker and middle single coil. And now, oh, sorry. Still position 4, only let's split that neck humbucker. Sounds like this. So neck humbucker split and the middle single coil. And now, neck humbucker with both coils. Finally, position 5 with the neck humbucker split. All right, so now let's get into high gain territory. So let me pull back up Axe Edit. And we're going to go to a very high gain metal setting. So, give me just a second for that guy to get loaded. So what we have here now, just so you know, the signal chain still the same, everything up until we get to the AXFX is still the same. We still got a DI signal on your right side, AXFX process on your left side. The signal chain, the preset of the AXFX has a gate at the front end, a noise gate, and then it has a drive pedal, which is a T808, a modified tube screamer T808 mod, with the drive turned all the way down. The tones at about between 3 and 4 o'clock. Low cuts at 400 hertz, the high cuts at 1500 hertz, and mix is 100% on that. That is feeding into the Recto 1 original vintage amplifier model, running with gain a little bit above 12 o'clock, between 12 and 1 o'clock, master volume at about 10 o'clock, and other various settings as well. Then out of that, it's running into a cab. The cab that it's running into is the F175. It's a 4x12 cabinet. So, and let me, because I actually have a... There we go. I actually had a 2 notes torpedo wall of sound running for a cabinet on the last one that didn't have a cabinet simulation. So this is much more of a high gain type of setup. So here we go on it, starting once again position 1 with both coils engaged. Alright, so now we'll coil split that, which seems almost kind of silly with this high gain of a setup, but we'll do it. So coil splitting, position number 1, bridge humbucker only with just 1 coil. Alright, position 2 with the humbucker, bridge humbucker, both coils, and middle single coil. You can hear the gate really clamping down on the guy since it's not driving the amp nearly as much, not nearly as much gain. So now we'll split the coil on position 2. So we've got 1 coil of the bridge humbucker and the middle. Alright, position 3, single coil in the middle. Feels weird trying to play something like that with pinch harmonics with that weird single coil sound. So position 4, which is neck humbucker and single coil in the middle with both coils of the neck humbucker going, at least without the coil tap on. I need to investigate that wiring a little more to see how Ibanez had it set up in the factory. So here we go. And coil tap for what it's worth on position 4 with a coil tap on or open. Now, neck humbucker, both coils going. All right, so there you go. That gives you an idea of the variety of tones you can get out of this setup. My thoughts on it, I absolutely love them. The stock pickups on this guitar weren't bad. They were, I believe, they're ceramic magnet pickups, and they were decently outputs. A little bit tame for my, little bit tame for some of the higher gain stuff I like to do. Also, I really felt limited on the sound. So by putting in this Seymour Duncan set, once again with the Sentient in the neck and the Nazgul in the bridge, keeping the stock single, and adding a coil tap on the humbuckers has just completely transformed this guitar as far as tone possibilities. As you heard, you can get anything from a very, very very eerily close to like a really bright single coil Stratty kind of sound on a clean, all the way to a really, really pushed, really high gain if you're in a high gain amp setup with both coils on the bridge pickup. So for me, if I were going to rate these guys, I'd give them probably maybe a 9 out of 10. I just say that because 10 out of 10's got to just be like, oh, they could never get better. And there are a couple of things that I think they could do a little better. The voicing on the neck pickup in single coil mode and in bridge or in humbucker mode, I like. I don't love. And on the clean settings, more so than the high gain, I'm not in love with the sound of the bridge humbucker in humbucker mode on the clean settings, although it just absolutely rips on a high gain or on a crunch setting. So I hope that was useful. As always, I would love it if you all would click the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up on this video, that would be awesome. Also, if you want to ring the bell, ding, 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 that way you can get notifications when new videos are coming, that would be incredible as well. And a lot of content coming. Be getting back to the Samick by Valley Arts Pro project here within the next few days. I just had something show up that I needed for my router today, so I can get back to work on that. So I should have some videos on that shortly. And otherwise, hope everybody's doing well out there, and keep playing. Take care, everyone.